Inside this box is not only one of the best and most hyped up pairs of sneakers that you can buy right now, but it's also one of the least expensive. And that shoe is the Asics Gel 1130s. Over the last year or so, possibly a year and a half, I've been a huge fan of what Asics is dropping. And what's wild is that over the last 8 years of reviewing sneakers on YouTube, I haven't really talked about them much. But I'm so glad that I finally came around to the brand because Asics is dropping so much heat. And the Asics Gel 1130 is one of their better silhouettes. And what's wild about this shoe is not only does it look good and also is incredibly comfortable on feet, but it's really popular. Like, it's actually pretty difficult to find in stores. However, when you do find a pair in stores, you can buy it for just 95 bucks. And in today's world of $215 Jordans, $95 seems almost unreasonably low for a pair of sneakers this good. I mean, sure, there are other good sub $100 sneakers out there like Vans and some Converses and things like that, but Asics releasing a pair of shoes that not only looks like some of their more expensive, very popular silhouettes, but also feels amazing on feet, for $95? Almost doesn't even make sense. I mean, shoot, with the popularity of the shoe alone, you'd think that the price of the shoe would have been bumped up, but for some reason, no. It's still just $95. And so, in today's video, I'm gonna review the Asics Gel 1130, one of my favorite sneaker pickups of the year, and let you guys know why I think you guys should buy this shoe as well. Oh, really quick, this video is brought to you by the Unboxed App, an app that I'm legally required to tell you I'm a part owner of. And just recently, not only is the Unboxed App actually launched on Android, so you can finally download it in Android, we've also launched a brand new feature. And this feature is Unboxed Gems. I literally can only hear Uncut Gems in my head whenever I say Unboxed Gems.
I was Josh Safdie's muse when he wrote Uncut Gems.
Right.
You know what? I wasn't gonna put that in the video, but I have to because I can't stop thinking about it. You can earn gems on the Unboxed app by just being active on the app, tracking your wears, liking your friends' posts, recording when you get new sneakers. And once you've earned some gems, you can redeem those gems for your chance to grab hyped up sneakers for retail. It's pretty sweet, I'm not gonna lie, and there are some pretty cool sneakers that you can redeem gems for. So make sure to download the Unboxed app if you haven't yet. Links in the top of the description below. It's a great way to track your sneaker collection, your wears, and also see what your friends are wearing. It's awesome. I definitely recommend it. Again, links in the top of the description below. But let's start things off by covering the history of the Asics Gel 1130. A lot of people out there say that Asics sneakers all look the same, and while yes, in a lot of ways I would agree with them, I will say that the Asics Gel 1130 looks most like a specific pair of Asics sneakers. And that shoe is the Asics Gel Kayano 14, probably my favorite pair of sneakers that Asics has ever made. Now, back when this shoe first released in the mid-2000s, it was a premium running sneaker, and to this day, it's still one of Asics' more premium lifestyle shoes. Coming in at a retail price of 160 bucks, it isn't one of the cheapest shoes available on the market. Now again, it's not the most expensive. Like I said, we've got $215 pairs of Jordans out there now, which are commonplace, but still, it's more expensive than other shoes out there. However, for that price, you are getting some pretty nice materials. You've got some nice meshes, you've got some nice overlays, which are probably synthetic, but they could also be leather, I'm not sure. The midsole of the shoe is very comfortable and features visible gel, which is very soft under feet. And the Gel Kayano 14 is just all around a very premium, well-built shoe. And like a lot of shoes out there, especially nowadays, the popularity of the sneaker when it first released was huge, and then it completely died out for a couple decades. And now in 2024, this shoe is once again incredibly popular. In fact, it's one of the most popular shoes available. But during the first wave of popularity of the Asics Gel Kayano 14, Asics decided to release a slightly cheaper option of the shoe called the Asics Gel 1130. This shoe first released back in 2008 and was originally designed to be the budget version of the Asics Gel Kayano 14, which at the time was purely a running sneaker, making the Asics Gel 1130 also essentially a running sneaker. Now, what Asics did to reduce the price of the 1130 was change some of the materials used on the upper. They used slightly less premium materials and honestly less materials on the upper in general. And they also dramatically reduced the amount of gel used in the midsole of the sneaker. In fact, the only gel that you can actually see is on the heel of this shoe, and it's only a tiny bit. And interestingly enough, as the Asics Gel Kayano has become more and more popular in the 2020s, so has the 1130. In fact, in a lot of ways, the 1130's popularity has eclipsed the popularity of the Kayano 14s. And seemingly the reason for that is not only the price point, but also the availability. For a while, this shoe was very available in a lot of different stores. Nowadays, not so much, but it was one of those shoes that you could buy for cheap, and you got basically the same exact look that you had on the Gel Kayano 14s, but for basically $65 cheaper. Not only that, the shoe itself is also a little bit wider than the Asics Gel Kayano 14, so some people actually consider this shoe to be more comfortable. But speaking of comfort, why don't we try these shoes on? All right, so I got two pairs of shoes to show you, both from Asics. One of them is incredibly cheap, and one of them is kind of expensive. Do you have a guess as to which one the expensive one is and which one the cheap one is?
Expensive one in your right hand.
This one, you think this is the expensive one?
Yeah.
Well, you're right. So what I'm gonna do now is try both of these shoes on and find out if you really should spend the extra money to get the Gel Kayano 14s, or you can just spend the 95 bucks and get the cheaper and honestly almost as good looking 1130s. Also, we'll try these guys on and find out what the sizing is like, because I actually don't remember how these fit, because I had a pair a couple months ago and I never really wore it.
to be completely honest. I just used it for a video, and then it's a lot of the sneakers in my collection, unfortunately. All right, so as far as sizing goes, I would say that the gel 1130s do fit true to size. Very comfortable underfoot. For a $95 shoe, this is pretty incredible. Almost exactly true to size. They're not too narrow, so I feel like wide footers could probably still go true to size. Maybe go up half a size if necessary, but I feel like you're kind of good to go. The problem is these are kind of difficult to find, so finding them in store to try them on is not the easiest, but if you buy them online, you can probably return them pretty easily, so. But yeah, true to size is my recommendation on the 1130s. Let's try on the Gel Cano 14s and compare them comfort-wise. You know, honestly, more similar than I would think. I guess a bit more cushioning in the 14s. I do think visually I prefer the 14s, but again, not by much. And it seems like the 1130s are slightly wider in the midfoot, which for some people might be a good thing. I mean, comfort-wise, really, really similar. Almost not even noticeable, the difference. Kind of crazy.
I wonder if the cheaper one will pack out quicker over time.
It might, because the more expensive one I've been wearing for the last like 6 months to a year. So it probably has backed out a little bit. But the more expensive one has all this gel in the midsole, which is kind of their selling point, that soft gel underfoot. The gel 1130s do have some gel, but not anywhere close to as much, and that's why I think they're cheaper, one of the reasons why they're cheaper. But yeah, honestly, on foot, true to size, I love them. I think comfort-wise, way more similar than you would expect. Back to the studio.
But now let's talk about some of the materials that make up the Asics Gel 1130. And starting off around the toe, you've got this metallic silver synthetic overlay. Obviously, not every colorway comes with a metallic silver overlay. It differs based on the colorway itself. Beneath the overlays, you've got this white, really wide mesh, which is actually backed by a relatively soft liner. Now, surprisingly, there's not really a lot of padding in the front portion of the shoe. It's all kind of just mesh on mesh, which does help with breathability. This shoe is incredibly breathable on feet. And to be fair, a lot of shoes really only have padding in the back half of the shoe, which is the case in the 1130s. You do have some nice padding around the heel area of the shoe. It's not as plush as something like the Gel Cano 14s, but it definitely gets the job done. As you move back in the shoe, you've got some more of these metallic silver overlays in the eye stay. You've also got these white oval laces, again, color dependent on the colorway itself. These oval laces are the only set of laces that you get inside the box, which makes sense for $95 sneakers. I wouldn't expect an extra set of laces. Underneath the laces, you've got more mesh on the tongue of the sneaker, and then also your Asics Gel 1130 branding on the top of the tongue. The tongue itself is relatively well padded. It's enough to where it feels soft, but not too much to where it feels like it's pressing into your foot. It's a good amount. And then continuing back in the shoe, you get to that iconic Asics logo touch on the midfoot, which is kind of the defining feature of Asics sneakers. That's what you notice first when you look at a pair of Asics shoes. Now again, the overlays on this shoe are inspired by the overlays in the Gel Cano 14, and you can definitely see that inspiration here. Obviously, there's less overlays because the shoe is cheaper, and it's cheaper to have less materials in the upper of the shoe, but visually, it does look pretty similar. Now, this colorway that I've got here is the Clay Canyon colorway, which is actually one of the more popular Asics Gel 1130 colorways. It released back in 2023, and it sold out. Now, I had to grab this pair off of Goat. I think I paid $160 for it, so I paid basically exactly what I paid for the Gel Cano 14s, which actually, to be fair, I also bought for resale, and I think I bought those for like $250. So I paid retail for Gel Cano 14s on a pair of 1130s because I wanted a colorway that was sold out. There you go. This colorway obviously comes primarily in white with silver accents, then of course brown hits on the logo, and you've got more brown hits as you move towards the heel of the shoe. One of my favorite details on the shoe is the gel text, which is kind of hidden in these little boxes on the heel area of the sneaker. I think it looks really cool and really like 2000s futuristic. Now, there are actually more colorways of this shoe that feature different materials in the upper, in some cases more premium materials in the upper, like suedes and nubucks and things like that, and those pairs do retail for more money. I think like $120 to $150 depending on what materials and whether it's a collaboration or whatever the case may be. But generally, the base Gel 1130 looks somewhat like this, except with different colors in the upper, and it retails for $95. As you move down on the shoe, you get to this cream-colored foam midsole, which is probably some version of EVA. You've got a gel hit in the heel of the sneaker, which comes in brown. It's actually stiffer than the gel that you have on the Gel Cano 14. It might be a slightly different kind of gel. I'm not 100% sure. There's also a lot less of it on this shoe than on this shoe, but again, $65 price difference. Now, this shoe does feature the Trustic support system, which is supposed to help with, I guess, torsional twisting and just running support and things like that. And I believe that's that plastic hit on the midfoot of the shoe. I will say the shoe is incredibly comfortable underfoot. It's not as soft as something like the Gel Cano 14 or other modern foam sneakers, but it is very, very comfortable. And this shoe was originally designed as a stability running sneaker, so it's got a slightly wider base than the Gel Cano 14s, so it actually feels better for wider footed people. And that extra width really does make this shoe feel more stable under feet. Like, I never felt like I was going to slide off of the midsole of the shoe at all. It was a really, really great shoe for everyday everyday wear and very light running, because I did some very light running in this shoe. And there's definitely enough cushion underfoot to make this a very comfortable underfoot experience, but it's not going to be a max cushion shoe. It's definitely on the firmer side of cushion sneakers, but I think some people actually might prefer that. Then finally, moving to the outsole of the sneaker, you've got this rubber outsole that comes in black and in brown. The traction on the shoe is decent. I had no slippage issues whatsoever. And for a running sneaker that released back in 2008, it holds up really, really well. This shoe just offers so much value for the money. It's $95, which is just an insanely cheap price for what you're getting. The materials feel very premium for a $95 shoe in particular. Comfort-wise, the upper is very soft, especially around the heel. You've got great breathability in the front half of the shoe, and the midsole is soft enough where you can wear this shoe all day without any kind of foot pain. And because of that wider base, specifically in the forefoot, it actually fits better than the Asics Gel Kayano 14, specifically for people with wider feet. So I think that's definitely a big selling point for this shoe over the Asics Gel Kayano 14s. In my opinion, if you haven't tried Asics yet, the Asics Gel 1130 is a perfect way to jump into the brand because that price point is incredibly reasonable and you're getting a shoe that feels great on feet and looks great on feet. In fact, in a lot of situations, I would wear this shoe over the Asics Gel Kayano 14. And while yes, I think generally I still prefer this shoe, I'm actually finding myself wearing the Asics Gel 1130 more than the Gel Kayano 14s because I like the slightly looser fit. And maybe it's just because I've seen the Gel Kayano 14 so much, but there's something that's really drawing me to the 1130s that I'm actually starting to like this shoe possibly visually better than this shoe. Now that might change, but I don't know. I kind of like the way this shoe looks a little bit better. I don't know, it's crazy. But at this point, I'd really like to get some people's opinions on this shoe and whether they like the 1130s better or the Gel Kayano 14s better. And also which one they think is the more expensive shoe, because honestly, it's kind of hard to tell.
Which pair of Asics do you think is more expensive at retail?
Go with the silver and black pair.
Good guess, good guess. Which one do you like better, personally?
I feel like I would normally say this,
Right.
silver and black pair.
Okay.
But I kind of like the black liner on this
true.
one. I think I would rock both of them actually.
Awesome.
Pretty neutral, pretty clean. Asics, super comfy.
Okay, so for this one, the cheaper one, how much do you think it costs?
What do Asics usually retail at?
Like the more expensive, I'll tell you what the more expensive one is. That one's 160.
This is 160?
Yeah.
120.
That's a good guess, 95.
95.
But they keep selling out, so it's hard to find them in
Oh
store.
wow.
Yeah.
That's a great deal.
I got two pairs of shoes. Tell me which one is the more expensive one retail. Like which one's more expensive in store?
Is the lighter one cheaper or is the heavier one more expensive? These ones look more premium.
Okay. Is that where
So
you're going
these are
with?
more expensive, yeah.
Okay.
And they're heavier.
How much do you think those ones
I
are?
don't even know Asics pricing at all.
95 bucks.
And these are 165.
That was literally, yeah, good guess. Would you rock either of them?
Yeah, I like these more. Yeah, I don't have Asics, but I'd rock them.
But hey, at this point, I would love to know your thoughts on the Asics Gel 1130s and whether you prefer the Kayano 14s or the 1130s. So let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I will see you all in the next one.